Just a little mini update. Spark plugs today. We're building up for a startup. Well, what is now coming towards the weekend, and I thought I'd quickly do this job while I have somewhat of light out here. These are platinum spark plugs. You can't really get copper ones for K series engines. Platinum is what is specified, or iridium. These were about £20, and for a set of 4, that's quite good going for this engine. Usually the plugs cost anything from around £25. What we're going to do, we'll pop them in. We're not going to torque them up, we're literally just going to tighten them until hand tight, then a tiny bit more as usually rule of thumb, and a bit of copperies on the threads, because my experience of spark plugs is not a very good one. I did a spark plug change on a Ford Fiesta with the 1.3 Kent engine, the Endura engine, as it was then. It was an X-Reg, and I was warned about the spark plug seizing into the cast iron head, and duly they all snapped, literally, but they all snapped in the right place, so I could get them out, but the actual porcelain top had snapped off pretty much every single one of them. They had never been changed in many years, so lots of copperies for when they went back in. Anyway, I'm going to crack on now. Right, start on number 1. These plugs, by the way, I never trust pre-gap plugs. Now the manual says 1mm, but I've been told by many forums on K series engines that 0.9 is much better, 0.8 is also just as good. I've set these at 0.9, just a little bit of middle ground, so we'll get that sorted. Anyway, let's put a bit of copperies on this plug. Just a little bit. If you do go a little bit too much, you can always rub it off. Got a tissue, that would help. Okay, because I don't want copperies on the actual important bit. But, just smear it round nicely. If you need a bit more, just put a bit more on. There we go. Lovely. Right, I have the right particular tool, a 10mm spark plug socket, says, and it just snaps in. Now I'm going to take the ratchet off. I'm literally just going to use the 3/8 extension just to wind it in by hand. Okay, gently down, and there you go. You'll feel it just threaded nicely. Now there is something actually very particular that I've got to say about spark plugs. Be very gentle. Do not rush this job. It is not worth rushing. I knew a story of someone who actually, I think he was trying to remove spark plugs rather than installing them. And on removing them, well, basically the experience I had with the Ford Kent engine is that the spark plugs were pretty seized, and when he pulled, well, when he tried to unseize one, he accidentally took the porcelain, like the porcelain bit of the plug, actually, you know, it basically crumbled. And he got the plugs out, but the bit of porcelain was stuck just around where the spark plug goes through the seat. And it must have been a bit of wind that blew it into the engine, because later on when he actually put the new plugs in and started the engine, there was all sorts of running issues. Couldn't work out what it was. He had to take the head off, and he found out that cylinder number 2 and 3 had scored bores, because that porcelain had gone in and scored the bore. Be very careful of snap smart plugs in that case. Other thing, what was I going to say actually? It was mainly that, but yeah, after that experience with the spark plug, I mean, you don't want it snapping below where you actually put your socket, because that would be, well, game over for the cylinder head unless you've got a very good man with a drill and plenty of hours. It'd be cheaper to just get another head, to be honest with you, unless it's a particularly rare car. Right, now's the fun bit. We just tighten them a little bit more. That's it, I'm not doing any more than that. I think this is a case of, if you want to torque them up, please torque them up. But if you're experienced enough with spark plugs to know when you might have a bit of an issue, do it by hand. Some people say hand tight and then a quarter or to half a turn. You can just go back over if you you'll see that one's quite loose now. That's fine. Now some people say don't use a 3/8 bar, get a 1/2 inch adapter because it's a 3/8 spark plug socket, get a 1/2 inch adapter, 1/2 inch bar, 1/2 inch ratchet. Now some people might think that's a bit overkill, and I personally think with a 1/2 inch ratchet, something as precise as a spark plug, you can't feel it yield with a bigger ratchet, but you get a bit less wobble with a 1/2 inch. Right, now I'm going to take that back out and I'm just going to go back over to the front one and just check. Yep, that's fine. That barely moves. You have to give it a certain amount of pressure. That's fine. Lovely. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice installed, nicely seated, all roughly around the same tightness, and that's what you want. So I'm going to put this cover back on. Just for now. I'm not going to put the rocker cover back on tonight. I'm losing light rapidly and I want to do that on a different day. I've had a long day at work and quite frankly my patience is a little bit tired at the moment. So we're going to shut up shop and I will see you very soon when we put the rocker cover back on.